Welcome to Center Hice Productions. It is December 31st, 2023, New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's, folks. First, please hit the likes and the subscribe down below in the right-hand corner. And I want to thank you all for the support. We love you dearly here. I really appreciate everyone who supports the channel very much. You mean a lot to me. And hoping to grow the channel larger this up and coming year. Anyway, we're here to review the New Year's Eve game between the Habs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I suspected this was going to be a blowout. Surprisingly, it wasn't. I think you can look at this in a couple different angles. I was expecting us to get crushed tonight. However, we lost respectfully, 4-3. There were some positive notes to take from the game, some negative notes. Now we outed for playing an extra defenseman in the lineup tonight, which put Kovacevic in the lineup, and they took Dvorak out, which, I didn't mind the way that worked, to tell you the truth. It was a good spirited game. The Habs, I think Tampa kind of played with us a little bit. They just showed the Habs, it really, there wasn't that many shots on Monty. Was not sharp whatsoever. Really, there wasn't many shots on him. And he was scored on fairly easy. Some of these goals were just, they were so soft, really. That Tampa just kind of showed us, even with a 2-goal lead, they can come back on us. There's just too much depth there with that club, and they have our number. And Kucherov, of course, was the man of the hour, as per usual, vs the Habs. Okay, so let's get to it. But it was a respectable game. No goals scored in the first period, 2-2 in the second period. We had a nice tie going into the third. Tampa went ahead of us, 4-2. Some bad timing in penalties didn't help the matter. Really good tic-tac-toe passing. The defense wasn't outrageously bad for the Habs, but a couple of missed assignments, and they still got this habit of double teaming a player, and this is going to cost them every time, and it showed. You can't put 2 guys, 3 guys on 1 guy, and they're still into that old habit. They got to get out of it in a hurry. So anyway, the final score ends up, third period, they score 2, we score 1 to get back within it. So it ends up 4-3. Real strange game in some scenarios. Nice fight with Josh Anderson. Just laid a beautiful, laid the bomb on the defenseman, and what a beautiful hit. They didn't like it, and they did what we should have did in the Canes game, and they defended their teammate, which was the proper thing to do. And Josh handled himself quite well in the fight. I'd say he slightly had the advantage, even though the player he fought ended up on top of him. Anyway, we'll read a real fast recap of it. Tampa, Florida. Calvin Deheen ended his 46-game drought with the tie-breaking score in the third period. And that was such a strange goal, and that was on Monty all the way. Defensemen had their players. Again, very odd goal, and I just find far too many times our goaltenders are down and on their knees sooner than they should be. Had he been up and to the side, to the post, it might have been a different story. Just some really, really, really bad goals got in on him tonight. Wasn't it? I guess they have their off nights. So he gets a tie-breaking goal in the third period, and the Tampa Bay Lightning rallied the Montreal Canadiens 4-3 on Sunday night. The defenseman put Tampa Bay up 3-2 with a shot from the left circle at 7:49 on a pass from of course, Nikita Kucherov, who became the first NHL player to reach 60 points this season. It was his 22nd goal in 606 games. It's nice to score, is what he said. Once in a while, said Dehan with a smile. Kucherov added insurance goal before Nick Suzuki pulled Montreal in a strange goal himself, 4-3. And the first line wasn't bad with 2:05 left. So backup goaltender Jonas Johansson made 27 saves. And yeah, it pretty much was. It was just a very weird game. Again, I think when you looked at it, just some strange events. Good physical game at times. I thought the first line had a better game tonight, but there were moments that let up a bit, but better than their previous game. So Dehan was the first star with a goal. Kucherov was the second star with 1 goal, 1 assist, and Johansson was the third star. And I'm sorry, I don't think either goaltender should have been a star in this game. I think there were plenty of other players to put in that spot. Anyhow, that's how they judge it, and we always get that. So, no scoring in the first period. Second period, goal scored, 3:58 by Cole Caulfield, unassisted, with kind of a steal, and he just blew it home. Very nice goal for Cole. Looked great. And then this was the strange one. Tampa took it as the play had stopped, and it didn't. Monty stopped the shot, put it out to the side to Kovacevic, and he just shot it down the ice on an open net. This was a strange event. You don't see this happen in games very often. However, that was assisted by Monty at 14, and that was at 11:49 in the second. Then, of course, odd man rush, and of course, who gets it? Braden Point makes no mistake, which he usually doesn't, and he just made Monty look bad on that goal. It just Monty looked like he misread that all the way. Like, I know it was a break and everything, but when you look at his reaction, wasn't a good reaction. Then, and that was assisted by Nicholas Paul and Braden Hagel. And at 17:36, Austin Watson scores, assisted by Victor Hedman and Nick Pervik. Third period, and this is where Tampa takes over at 7:49. Calvin DeHaan gets the big goal that puts us behind. Yeah, and that was assisted by Kucherov and Stamkos. And then, of course, so that's pretty much there. And Nikita Kucherov iced it, assisted by Hedman, Anthony Cirelli with, just some strange goals, soft goals that just shouldn't have went in. Guys missing the cue of not covering their man at the sides of the net and leaving a stick open. That too. There was a couple goals that were kind of on the defense as well, but for the most part, they were very soft goals in this on Monty in this game. I wasn't impressed, although, like I said, a couple of misassignments as well. Okay, then in 17:55, Montreal decides to make a game of it with a strange goal from Nick Suzuki, set up by Slafkovsky and Mike Matheson. So line one was fairly good. So here's the stats: 30 shots for Montreal, 20, only 20 for Tampa, and that's just not good enough by the goaltender either. And it did seem to be a positive thing to have Kovacevic back in the lineup. He was made a difference. He was one of the better defensemen tonight. Jordan Harris was by far, in my books, the top defenseman though on the team tonight. uh, without a shadow of a doubt. Struble was all right. He again had a couple shaky moments on. He got beat foot speed. He couldn't keep up with Kucherov. So he had some shaky moments where he missed his assignments and got lost in the dust on a few occasions as well. So 30 to 20 in shots, 27 hits to 25 for the Habs. Face-offs 35-17 for the Habs. Power plays, we only had one crack at it and we didn't get anything, of course. Here's the shocking stat. With Tampa, 0 goals on the power play, which was a big improvement by our penalty killers. They did a fine job. However, just how we let him back in so quickly. And this is something that when Savard or Gooley pinch or Matheson, they got to start, or even Barron. These are the four that usually do the pinch thing. They're getting caught, and it happened to Barron or Savard and Matheson, and Matheson wasn't able to save the play. He's just not good enough in that position. His defensive game is not his strength, and I think Savard and all those four do have to pick better moments to jump into plays because it seems like sometimes they're trying to do too much. So anyway, that was just, and then penalty minutes was 13 to 19 in favor of Tampa. Giveaways 5 for us, 7 for them. Takeaways 8 for us, 6 for them. Block shots 17 apiece. So Mike Matheson gets a delay game in the first period. Second period, Nick Suzuki gets 2 minutes for hooking. 4:07, Luke Glennon gets a misconduct and instigator fight, and 5-minute major for fighting. Josh Anderson got a 5-minute for fighting and 2 minutes for charging. And then third period, Savard gets a penalty, 2 minutes for tripping, and then Tanner Janot, 2 minutes for interference, which worked for us. So it was a spirited game. A good tilt between Josh Anderson in that fight. He did it. Nice to see a little emotion that way. Uh, However, we got to get more involved. Line one had a half decent game tonight. Line two uh, was half decent. Usually is. With Anderson had a strong game. Monty or Monahan, sorry, and from there, another guy who stood out was Ulainen. Ulainen had a very strong game on that fourth line. Probably the best player on that line. Did quite well. Was dangerous at times. That's what we wanted to see. The defense had some good looks with some chances. However, again, this pinching, overdoing it, where they're getting busted and allowing odd man rushes, and it's catching us. But there's a few goals here that one of the goals shot, it was almost like a shot towards front of the end. Uh, the defense actually had their men tied up. Barron had his guy, so it was totally solely on Monty, and it was a really weird soft goal. Just shows you to throw it towards the net. Anything can happen. The old adage. But what we seen in this game was we seen some effort anyway from the players. Um, yeah, it wasn't a bad game. Galley had an all right game. Um, Jake Evans had a good game. And you can always get 100% from him. The defense, like I said, Harris and Kovacevic kind of had the most solid games. No doubt about it. Harris was definitely the best guy up there in that regard. Savard wasn't as sharp. He gets beaten foot races. And then we got this little habit that's starting. You're starting to notice in the last 3 games. We're just letting the opposition walk right in front of the net from one side, and we're not getting there fast enough to cover the man. This has got to change. I mean, this is a major defensive lapse, and it's a habit that's showing up. And we better get a grip on it if we want to move things in the right direction. But a good spirited game. I give the Habs credit. I just look at Tampa, and they had that. It was like they never panicked one moment. Of course not. But however, it was like they were saying to the Habs, "Go for it. This is your opportunity to get a few goal lead. We're going to show you how fast we can come back on you." And that's really how it looked, because once they turned it on, the Habs were no match for them. That they were getting left behind quite a bit. And Kucherov just one man wrecking show. But the team, Tampa, played fairly well together. But Kucherov definitely stood out and always does. Point played well. Edmund had a good game. But for us, we had some positives. Our defense, I like that move to have the extra defenseman in. I think it was something a different look, and I liked it. Just happened to be that tonight it seemed like Sam Montembeault wasn't ready for the task tonight. On very few shots, he lost this one. He shouldn't have. There were just too many weak goals. Definitely an off night for him. No and ifs and buts. I think there could have been a better outcome had he been on his game. But anyway, it's a loss. We suspected it would be a loss. At least it wasn't a crushing. I thought it was going to be like 5-1 or 6-1. Um, we hung in, and we got Caulfield seems to be, out of his slump now, we think. Just from now, it's 2 goals in a row, 2 nights back to back. Suzuki scored, so that first line was producing, definitely. Got to get production from other parties, so other lines have to start producing some goals. We don't have the type of team to be able to rely on one line. It's just not going to pan out for us. We don't have the stardom for that. So, good game. And again, I want to wish you all a happy new year. I very much appreciate all of you. I love your comments and bigger things yet to come. I wish you the best, you and your families, the best of luck and a good new year with lots of prosperity. And pray that it's a good 2024 brings good things for all of you. And where's the puck drop first? Here at Center Hice. And yeah, so with that being said, we will review the next game, which, you know what, I don't even know who we're up against next. Anyway, uh, good game overall. At least we were respectable in this game. And a good solid game. Canadians play the Stars, I believe, on Wednesday or is that Tuesday. So we got the Stars. That's not going to be an easy game for us. They always play us hard and usually come out as the victors. So I will be coming back to you with a review on that game. Thank you for joining me. And again, Happy New Year. Happy 2024. God bless you all.